The crinkle of tissue paper was too loud. It always is, when the silence between heartbeats stretches thin. My son, Leo, sat cross-legged on the worn Persian rug, a small navy blue box resting in his lap. His eyes, usually bright with the reckless joy of 8 years, were studying the wrapping, confused. We were at my mother's house, the annual ritual of forced, cheerful generosity in full swing. It was the moment they called the small things distribution. My mother had told us all, just an hour before, slicing the Christmas ham with practiced precision, everyone will get something small before the big gifts, just a little something from Santa. Leo opened his box. Inside were 2 pairs of white cotton athletic socks. Practical, cheap. I watched his face, the small dip in his brow, the slow slide from anticipation to a question he didn't yet know how to ask. Across the room, my sister's twins, Chloe and Marcus, screamed. Real, delighted, unrestrained sound. They were ripping through paper around identical, sleek silver boxes. New smartphones, the latest models. Not small things, not socks. My gut tightened, a cold, hard knot. This was not random, this was a statement. The subtle, constant shift in the family dynamic, the way my mother looked at Leo, the slightly cooler hug, the thinly veiled pity in my sister's eyes, it all crystallized in the stark contrast of cotton socks versus a $1,000 phone. Leo looked up at me, his hand still resting on the flimsy cotton. His voice was a bare whisper, edged with something that felt like shame. "Did I do something wrong, Mommy?" The question was a bullet. It ripped through the years of controlled politeness, the carefully constructed facade of a functional family. I knelt, pulling him into a hug that was too tight, too focused. I kissed the top of his head. "Never, my love. You did nothing wrong." The lie tasted like ash. I held him until his small body relaxed, his question absorbed back into his silence. That night, I smiled, a thin, perfectly calm smile. The game was over. They had finally shown their hand, and now it was my turn. This wasn't about socks. It was about years of emotional calculation. The way I'd been the one to pay for my mother's property tax shortfall, the one to bail my sister out of her first 2 car loans, the one who quietly kept the family health insurance running, covering my mother and my sister's family under my corporate plan, a relic from a naive time when I still believed in unconditional family. They saw my competence not as a strength to be respected, but as a resource to be exploited, and Leo as the inconvenient byproduct of a life they judged messy. I didn't need to investigate the gifts were the evidence. The true investigation was into the infrastructure of their dependence. It had been years since I logged into the insurance portal, trusting the system. That night, sitting at my laptop, the screen illuminating my face in a cold blue light, I pulled up the account. I went through the financial records first. Every payment, every premium deducted from my salary, paid for my sister's twins' endless trips to the pediatrician, my mother's expensive heart medication. A 6-figure total over 9 years. I printed the spreadsheet. The numbers were irrefutable, stark proof of my quiet generosity and their ungrateful, manipulative silence. Then I navigated to the Beneficiaries and Dependents tab. The names were listed: Mother, Eleanor Hayes; Sister, Sarah Hayes; Niece, Chloe Jenkins; Nephew, Marcus Jenkins. I hovered the cursor over the Remove button beside Eleanor's name. No hesitation, no tremor in my hand. My internal monologue was quiet, surgical. You wanted small. You will get nothing. With 5 deliberate, clean clicks, I removed every single name from my health and dental coverage. The system required a final verification. Are you sure you want to proceed with the removal of these dependents? I hit Confirm. It took less than 30 seconds. I printed the confirmation page, the digital receipt of their sudden, total vulnerability. I folded it neatly, a clinical piece of documentation, then tucked it into the pocket of my coat. The psychological vindication was immense. It was a victory won without a single raised voice, without one accusation. There would be no confrontation, no emotional argument. They would find out in the cold, brutal way of a canceled prescription or a rejected emergency room claim. That was the revenge. Financial panic delivered by silence. I walked to the kitchen and made a cup of tea. I didn't feel rage or sadness, only profound clarity. I looked at the dark street outside. Leo was safe, upstairs, sleeping with a new, quiet resolution. I was free. I had been foolish, but I was not weak. I had ceded control once. I would never do it again. They wanted small. They had just been reduced to zero.